So here we are, part 2 of the VW-T4 trailer project. Get it towed over to the workshop. This is really good fun because there's no jockey wheel, so you have to use a jack and then really accurately reverse. So first job, here are some balls that I salvaged to put the gas rams for the tailgate on the back of the van. So I'm making some brackets out, some angle iron. These are a copy of what they look like when you search VW-T4 bracket on eBay. They're quite expensive, so it only took about 20 minutes to make a pair, so decided to do that. Fitting them on there. Now these are the extra strong bike rack gas struts, so I was quite impressed with the power, so it's much better than that pole. So I think I managed to lock myself in at that point. There we go. Not a bad copy, nice and quick. That's those done. So lots of thought has been given to what to do with the front end of this van. I did get 2 tailgates with the idea of putting one at the front, but I didn't want the extra weight. And I didn't like leaving it like that because it just looked like the seats were missing. So I decided to plasma cut out all of the spot welds and take the bulkhead out and turn it around because I thought it would be a better shape. If I was doing it again, I probably wouldn't do this because it was quite a lot more effort and time than I really wanted to put into it. But you'll see at the end, I don't think it's done a bad job. So here we are, plasma cutting out all the spot welds. I did think about drilling them out, but I couldn't be bothered. So plasma cut to the win. I also didn't want to just put a flat piece of steel across the front because I always think it looks a bit unfinished and a bit homemade. Now, there's lots of this that does look quite homemade, but I just thought the front end needed to have a bit of shape to it. So here we are. I now do my best Jurassic Park impression and sort of try and break free from inside the van. This took quite a while, so I sped it up. It didn't want to come out, and it didn't want to go back in again, I can tell you that for nothing. So there we go, lots of bashing around and finding a few little corners that haven't quite come out. There she comes. As you can see, it's still full of stuff because I sort of started storing things in it as well as trying to build it. So then I decided the next job would be to fit the side door, which previously just been ratchet strapped in position. So I've got some runners, fitted those, and I put a handle on and a lock. There we go, give it a bit of a slam and it shuts. So we've now got 2 doors, but now got a big hole in the front. So we're sort of 2 up, 1 down. There's the big hole. So the next decision was where exactly to position the inverted bulkhead. Yes, I am using an iron as a dolly. I do have lots of dollies, but I like this one. It's got a handle, you put it in the right place, and it's got a nice square edge. So I made a decision, placed it, tacked it in, and then welded up as much as I could to get it sealed in and nice and strong. Then I decided to get rid of those horrible sort of horns of the remaining roof. They would have been where the top of the door would have gone. So cut those off with a 9-inch grinder and then gave a bit of a smack with the copper hammer just for good measure. And then that bit of roof that's folded down on the top, that is the original roof, which I then managed to fold over. So I was then left with that horrible open-ended bit of section there. So I set about making some metal cappings. On the here's the Edwards guillotine. I got this out of a skip. Amazing what some people don't seem to want. Very useful for making small patches. And then over to the homemade bandsaw to do the curved sections, and then nibbled the corners out with the tin snips mounted in the vise. Absolute 80s for the win, helps every job along. Now it was time to weld the patches onto the open ends. Now it's transitions in design that are always the tricky bits, and this was no exception. So it did take a little bit of time to make the panels and weld them on, but I like to work in metal. I suppose some people like to work in body filler, which does have its place, but I like to have some metal underneath. So I did take the time to make these plates. There they are there. So the essence for this project is speed, really. I want to get it done. I'm trying to do things as well as I can within a decent time. I don't want to spend years over it. So here I am enlarging the whole of the window. The person I bought this off had left a random window in the back of the caravan or something, and it doesn't quite fit, so need not, waste not, want not, and whatever the expression is. So I decided to use that. So here I am cutting out the window aperture. Now I've got loads of tools that would have done a better job of this, but I decided to use the angle grinder. Adam came and gave me a hand, put some sealant on it, which acted as a fantastic lubricant, making it really difficult to actually hold it in the right place. But we did succeed. Drilled and riveted it in place. There we go, there's the top section. Put some little panels in, which I made out the offcut of the roof to fill in between the bulkhead and where the back of the door would have been, and use a small amount of body filler. There you can see a fantastic hole in the floor, but also treasure. I found treasure. Some sort of brush and some weird kind of, I think it's a flare for if you break down. Can't really read it. If you know what this is, do comment in the comment section. I decided to just carefully place it over there and play with it on a different day. So here we are. This is the original wiring harness I tracked down to the front of the van, and I'm using a Hornby 00 transformer, a really useful bit of kit in the workshop for this sort of thing, to test all the wires and label them to see what they are. So what I'm going to do is put a 7-pin trailer plug on the front and just use the original lights and the original wiring. And yes, it has reverse lights. Always handy on a trailer. So there it is. That's the end of part 2. The jockey wheel also fits